So I'm sitting here with my videographer guy, Adam, and I'm 41 years old. I met him probably 15, 16, no, like almost 20 years ago. And I'm living in like this condo that it's getting foreclosed on over near the Palms Casino in Las Vegas. And I'm a one-man band, and I'm trying to figure out how to grow my real estate business. And I'm a realtor, and I got my head on a bus sign off of Decatur and Tropicana. And I got this cheesy smile on my face, and I got a little suit on. And I'm trying to figure it out. And I had no safety net, and I had no idea what I was doing. It's pretty cool and exciting to see he's working with me now, and that we have changed and evolved over those 20 years. And I've learned how to run a business and build a business, and with 65 employees, and now with the different funds and the investments and finding a niche and writing the book, finding my own edge and the competitive advantages there, and it's led me to here. So what I wanted to get into was the principles of wealth, like right in the front of like the framework of thinking about getting wealthy and not just getting rich quick. Because I grew up in Las Vegas, I saw a lot of people get a lot of success really fast, a lot of flashy cars and clothes and houses and trips and pictures and all that thing, entering in the social media age in my late 20s and 30s. And a part of me was drawn to a lot of that stuff. And I'm like, wow, you know, maybe I should go sell $1 million houses, or maybe I should go into a different business or Amazon or some other thing. But deep down, I knew in the beginning that my foundation was real estate. When I first read a couple books about investing in real estate, and then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I said, damn, this is the ticket. This is what I'm gonna do. And I committed to that my whole life. Everything I did was committing to learning how to be a great real estate investor and a great business owner. So I got my cousins that are in their early 20s and teenagers still, and they're looking around and they're wondering, you know, how do I get rich? Everybody wants to know it, because that's exactly what social media tells you, that, you know, you can be young, and with crypto, you can get rich quick. With NFTs, you can get rich quick. With selling on Amazon or being an influencer, you can get rich quick. And I have to tell you, I mean, it is possible, but I have never seen it sustain. It seems like the guys that got rich quick, all the guys over the 20 years I've seen, or there was some investment that was too good to be true, it fell apart every fucking time. And they were there one day and gone the next. And I kept plugging away, doing my little cold calls and my door knocking and being broke and saving money and investing and never buying anything flashy. And then over the long haul, it's so damn rewarding that actually what I believed in and I focused on, and if you look at the wealth curve of my life, like the first pretty much 15 years, it just didn't really accelerate. And then doing an evaluation and seeing the last 5 years, and especially the last 3 or 4, it just explodes. So I want to share that message with all my younger cousins and all the young people out there that, I mean, I know it's played out, but you've got to be patient. You've got to stick with the fundamentals of what your core skills are and the core skills of business and investing. So I'm going to do a little series of 6 or 7 videos regarding the fundamentals of building wealth. I mean, this is the framework that I look at building wealth, and this is just the way I did it. And I did it not having a lot of resources and having to be creative and having to find a competitive edge personally. And everyone, I think, needs to do that themselves, but there's a million different paths. We're gonna do this video series where you understand how I built wealth, and then you can make educated decisions so you can build wealth, generational wealth, long-term wealth, sustainable wealth for you too. So that first lesson I learned, and the thing that changed my mindset, thinking like someone that's rich and not someone that's poor, is you got to work to learn, not to earn. Like, if you sell yourself out for a paycheck, or you sell out to get money right away, short-term quick money, you're wasting your time. When you trade money for time, you never get rich, no matter what. I learned that very early on. I don't care if you're an athlete, entertainer, a very successful person. In my mind, if you don't own assets, you'll never be wealthy. So the first principle I learned was you work to learn, and you learn skills that you add value. One, you can either add value by building a business or by being a valued employee or a valued contractor. And then you earn, but you earn only to learn more about how to buy and build assets. So if you have a skill or you are of high value, you will earn a lot and you will be valued, you will get compensated, but you have to have assets. So you work to learn, not to earn. So lesson number 1 was work to learn, not to earn. So the second thing I learned is when you trade time for money, you're never gonna get rich, and you have to own an asset, and you gotta know what an asset is. And the very basics, an asset is where it actually puts money in your pocket. This business or this piece of real estate, it actually pays you every single month. It's a very simple concept, but you'd be surprised how many people forget about this, where you have to own something of value that your customers or tenants want to use, and then people pay you every single month, and that is leverage. So the richest people in the world, they own a lot of assets. And I'm not saying you have to be a business owner or you have to be a real estate investor full time, but you have to understand how the game of business works, and then you have to own assets. And that's how you grow exponentially with your wealth. When my grandparents passed away, the only thing that really had any value at the end of their life was their real estate. And they weren't into real estate. They owned a house or a few houses. So real estate for me, this is sustainable, generational, long-term wealth, and it creates cash flow. These are solid assets. So principle number 3 is you have to be financially literate. You gotta know the rules of the game. You gotta understand that everything in life is driven by business. Why decisions are made, why projects are built, why people do what they do. It's the study of economics and the study of incentives. So when there's a financial incentive to do something, people are motivated to do it. So the game of business is really kept track on your financial statements. These are the scorecards of business. So if you don't understand the fundamentals of financial statements, you really don't know what the score is in the most important game that you're ever gonna play. So you have to understand what a cash flow statement is, what a balance sheet is, and what an income statement is. I mean, they're very simple principles and it's simple math, but financial intelligence is critical to being a great employee, to mastering your craft as a contractor, being a small business owner, and an investor. We're all playing the game of business, so you have to have the financial intelligence to know how to play the game. Number 4, you have to understand that it's not how much you make, it's how much you actually keep. And this is a function of taxes. Tax strategy is extremely important. As I am exposed to wealthier and wealthier people, they are constantly focused on how do I defer or offset taxes. It's not that they don't pay them, but they figure out ways to actually defer paying them or strategies to maximize the revenue that they collect and the profit that they make. And they own and keep more of their assets or more of their income. This is extremely important because if you look at your most expensive cost of your year-to-year investing, it's gonna be taxes. So formulating your plan about how you generate income and then how you invest has to have tax strategy included in that plan. And that's where your financial intelligence and your advisors understanding the fundamentals of tax strategy will really benefit you over the long term. And this is what the wealthy do. Day in and day out, they understand the power of minimizing taxes. So number 5, what I learned is the rich invent money. So what does that mean? They see a problem in the marketplace and then they solve the problem. So if you have the ability and skills and the wherewithal to build a team where you can solve other people's problems at scale and you can make their lives easier, you create wealth. There's value. It's not about if you're right or wrong or if someone likes you or don't like you. The market is always going to be the market. And if you provide value to people at scale and you offer something that is of value to a large amount of people, you will get paid. So the rich invent money where they create assets. They build businesses that add tremendous value to other people. So I'm always looking at my business and the skills that I create. How am I adding value to other people? And how can I do it at scale? That's how you're able to get really rich, and that's the core essence of what an entrepreneur is. So the last lesson I learned was an important one, and it took me a while. If you can't control your emotions, you can't control your money. And that was a big lesson for me, especially growing up here in Las Vegas, where you see gambling and you see impulsive spending and you see all the flash. For me, it was learning how to not get too high, not get too low, stick with the plan, and focus on the core fundamentals, working to learn and growing and buying in assets and building a business and adding value to other people. And it wasn't about, making the $50,000 check or $1 million check. It's about the system and the plan and continually doing it day in and day out. And once I removed the emotion about the highs of winning and making a lot of money and the lows of losing and missing out on making money or losing money, it was so much easier for me to lead. It was so much easier for me to think clearly and to plan and strategize my future. So it was so much easier after I learned to control the macro, the way that I thought about money, the feelings, the impulses, the reactions, the association I had around money, and then the micro on all the day-to-day activities and the skills and the tools and the people that I worked with. I had to internally figure that out first before externally I could be successful. All right, so wrapping up the 6 principles, this is the framework and the fundamentals of how I grew my wealth and everything I learned from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What I learned is that the difference that makes the difference is not what you do or all the things that you invest in, or you got lucky, or you found some special assets, or where you grew up, or who your parents were. It's really about how you think, right? It all starts in your mind, and it all starts with your mindset. And if you're chasing a sunset going the wrong direction, no matter how motivated or excited you are, you're never gonna be successful. So I looked at what are the most important things in business and in financial intelligence or with investing, and I decided I'm gonna commit to these principles. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the fundamentals, and that's why so many people encourage others to read that book, because it really condenses down in a very simple format exactly what to do to get wealthy. So to the young people out there, I just want to impress upon you, I'm 41 years old, 20 years into it. You know, there might not be a lot of success out of the get-go, and it's truly about mastering the game, mastering your craft, understanding the fundamentals of business, the rules of business, the strategy around business. That's what the true game is about. And then long-term wealth is generated, and then it accelerates beyond our imagination, right? Who knows how far I'm gonna take it, and if you really stick to these fundamentals, you know, there's infinite possibility. So in closing, this is exactly the framework that I used to build my wealth. And the next series of videos I want to talk about are the essential rules of investing. To be a professional investor, there's certain attributes or traits that you should have so that you're educated, you make your own decisions, you don't let anyone else control you money, you control your own money. So we're going to get into that in the next course.